Introducing Giovanni Bovenzi. And in the blue corner, wearing royal blue trunks with white trim, he weighs 160 pounds even, from Pennington Gap, Virginia. He is undefeated in 21 consecutive bouts, 13 by knockout. Introducing the Pennington Pounder, Barry Audia.
You know who the crowd's behind. Paul Venzi's the referee, has the instructions.
As long as you're punching, I'll leave you alone. But if you hold or you tie each other up, I'm going to ask for a break, and I want a clean break. But protect yourself at all times. Don't get hit coming out of a clinch. In case we have a knockdown, whoever scores that knockdown has to go to the furthest neutral corner and must remain there until I tell him to come out. Watch your fouls, shake hands now. Good luck to both of you.
Scheduled for 10, Giovanni Bovenzi, 24 years old. He has turned things around, coming off the big knockout over Kenny Whetstone. The undefeated Barry Audia, 25 years old, and looking for some recognition in the middleweight or junior middleweight division, whatever. He prefers to fight junior middleweight. He's been fighting his last several fights as a middleweight.
And I think the keys in this fight are very simple. Number one, it's the mobility of Bovenzi. Will Audia be able to deal with it? And the quick hands of Bovenzi. And secondly, has Barry Audia faced the kind of competition that Bovenzi has? Even though Bovenzi's record is less imposing, he has faced tougher fighters. Or at least I believe he has.
Barry Audia did want people to know that he is also of Italian descent. His grandparents on his father's side, both from Italy, and pronounce their name Audia, but he prefers to be called Audia.
What he has is an excellent right hand. He just threw it against Bovenzi, and he's got a good left hook also. Barry Audia has power. There's no question about that.
Most of Barry Audia's fights have been fought in Virginia, Knoxville, Tennessee. We saw him in our main event in Houston, Texas, May 24th. Good overhand right scored for Barry Audia.
That's the right, and there's the left hook. So Barry Audia shows us the main punches in his arsenal immediately.
Giovanni Bovenzi, much like Tony Suero, his career started off very actively. 1979, he started as a pro. In 1980, he was very busy. And then things slowed down. Took a turn for the worse, and he laid off for 22 months.
I think already Bovenzi has shown Audia the power in his left hook. That last left hook that he landed got a kind of a grimace from Barry Audia. I believe if this fight is fought on the inside, Bovenzi can win it because he has that good hand speed. And we saw him against Kenny Whetstone, who was a very good fighter on the inside, and we saw Bovenzi do well. I think Barry Audia's best hope in this fight is to land one of those right hands from the outside or maybe a left hook and see if he can stun Bovenzi with it.
Break, step out, step out.
Paul Venzi gets them apart. 1 minute to go in round one, scheduled for 10. In his first pro fight, Giovanni Bovenzi fought Tony Suero. They are now stablemates. Suero won a 4-round decision. Bovenzi, after the layoff, or during the layoff, came back, went to Italy for a while, came back, worked in a pizza shop on the boardwalk here in Atlantic City. Get himself straightened out financially. Things taking a turn for the better. He's come back to boxing. Less than half a minute to go in round one. Bovenzi looking sharp.
There's the combination punching, and that's what Audia had trouble with in his last fight against Tommy Smith. When Smith punched in combination, it gave him problems.
Audia did a good job of turning things around on Bovenzi. Nice work on the inside. A good uppercut. Another one by Audia. Final seconds of the first round.
Second round, round two.
Round two, Giovanni Bovenzi in the black trunks from Vineland, New Jersey. He, too, spent 5 weeks with Carmen Graziano. I wonder if he feels that's worse than going to jail.
Tony Suero was not thrilled with that living arrangement, I'll tell you that.
In the blue trunks, Barry Audia. The last 3 weeks in Knoxville, Tennessee, working with Jay Dudley, his manager and trainer. Said he got better sparring for this fight than he did for the Smith fight. Wasn't all that happy with his performance against Smith, but did come on strong in that fight as he won going away. Wide margin, unanimous decision. On all the cards, he won by 4 or 5 rounds.
He felt Audia did that he didn't get enough sparring for this fight, a little bit more for this fight, and he watched the films of Bovenzi against Whetstone, and he says he knows Bovenzi's strong, but still feels he can take him.
Glancing right cross scores Bovenzi a better left hook.
Good left hook. That's where the power of Bovenzi is in the left hook. And look at him manhandle Audia on the inside. I was shocked that Bovenzi did that to Kenny Whetstone, because Whetstone may not be the greatest fighter in the world, although he's a fairly good journeyman, but he's strong on the inside.
Looping right hand scores for Audia. That combination taken on the gloves by Audia. Bovenzi's been sparring with Tony Suero in the gym, with Mario Maldonado. He's a guy whose fortunes has taken a turn for the worse.
Maldonado again, just like Bovenzi and Suero, up and down as a pro. Sometimes you think he's going to be great, and then he doesn't quite make it. Bovenzi, though, has really arrived.
Big
There's a
hook.
Yeah, that punch really shook Audia.
Audia tying him up. Bovenzi with a stern look of determination on his face.
I guarantee you, this is the toughest man that Barry Audia has faced.
No question about it.
It is almost impossible for me as I watch Giovanni Bovenzi. I never saw him before we saw him the last time out on ESPN. It's impossible for me to believe that he has all those losses. And the people he's lost to, losing to Louis Resto, who's not a bad fighter, draw with Pete Stewart, a loss to Feliciano Cintron, to Nino Gonzalez, to Steve Small.
Knocked out by Odell Leonard in the first round.
It's amazing.
Audia covering up as Bovenzi rips the left hook. Paul Venti steps in with half a minute to go in round 2.
The hand speed, such a key difference here for Bovenzi, as we thought it might be going in. But we don't want to rule Audia out because he is a power puncher, and he may still hurt Bovenzi.
We're late in the second round of our co-featured event. Middleweights Giovanni Bovenzi and Barry Audia. We'll be right back. Round 3 scheduled for 10. Giovanni Bovenzi in the black trunks from Vineland, New Jersey, by way of Cellule, Italy, and the Pennington Pounder, Barry Audia from Pennington Gap, Virginia, in the blue. Check out scoreboard. Take a look.
First 2 rounds to Bovenzi. I have him ahead in this fight 2-0.
Bovenzi has turned southpaw momentarily. The trade left hook. Bovenzi's looked a little bit better.
You know, I think the frustrating part of this for Audia may be that I have a feeling Bovenzi could box him also and win this fight. I think he can win on the inside and win on the outside. And I'm not trying to create a hopeless situation for Barry Audia, but it's just that Bovenzi has certain skills that offset Audia's style.
Comes a time in every fighter's career he must face a test. Barry Audia has a nice record of 21-0 with 13 knockouts. Now he's going to find out how good he is.
I think it's really vital for Audia to hurt Bovenzi, or at least stun him with one of those right hands or maybe a left hook. Those are his 2 big weapons. He needs to do that at some point in these early to middle rounds.
With the right hand.
The right, but again, not too much impact for Bovenzi. Bovenzi's not that busy, though, early in this round. No, that's a good posture for Audia. When Bovenzi gets inside, he's holding on, and I think that's a good idea. He does not really want to fight Bovenzi on the inside. We saw Bovenzi do so well against Whetstone from that posture. Good left hook.
Most of that left was taken on the arms by Audia, and he ties up Bovenzi again.
That's the punch Bovenzi really wants to land. His primary power is in that left hook.
A minute to go in this third round.
It's a very slow round, and tough to score.
Kind of a cautious round for Bovenzi. Stuck a nice sharp jab in there.
Audia suffering from something he suffered in the last fight against Tommy Smith. He's not getting off. He's a little lethargic.
Audia's doing a good job of covering up here and making Bovenzi miss and blocking some of those punches. but he's not doing enough offensively. We come down to 20 seconds to go in the third round.
You know, on the inside there is where I would think Bovenzi would be working. That's where he did so well against Whetstone, ripping a left hook to the body and the head.
Final seconds of the third round. You're watching Top Rank Boxing. Sam Rosen and Al Bernstein live at ringside here in Atlantic City at Resorts International Hotel and Casino. This is round 4 of our co-featured event. Middleweights, Giovanni Bovenzi in the black trunks and Barry Audia in the blue.
You know, I talked about the abilities that Bovenzi has that makes him, in my mind at least, kind of a favorite in this fight. Though certainly not a lock. However, he's not using all those skills. He's not using his hand speed as much as he should. He's not as busy as he should be. And there you see him wild with the left hook. So unless he uses all those skills, he's not going to dominate this fight.
Now, Audia in the third round, again early in the fourth, has made Bovenzi miss. Now he's got to counter a little more.
Now that's what Bovenzi needs to do. He threw the jab, the straight right hand. They didn't land flush, but then he came with the left hook to the body. And that is what he did against Whetstone so effectively.
He has been able to pick off a lot of those jabs thrown by Bovenzi.
Right low by Bovenzi, out of the view of Paul Venti, I believe.
Barry Audia has put 3 years in at East Tennessee State as a medical technology student. And stopped to concentrate on his boxing career.
Bovenzi getting very wild with that left hook, and I'll tell you what, if he does stay wild with that punch, Audia will be delighted to throw a counter right and hit him with it. And again, as I've said, Audia has put some people away with that right hand.
To this point, he's not done any damage, Audia, on Bovenzi. He's not thrown anything that has stung Bovenzi. Bovenzi's thrown the sharper of the punches. He's trying to measure Audia. Audia's done a good job of tying him up.
And, you know, people don't give Barry Audia that much credit for defensive abilities, but he can cover up, and he has slip punches from Bovenzi.
Exchange of left.
Combination that missed by Audia, starting to put his punches together a little bit.
He's throwing more punches this round. He's much busier than he was.
He is indeed.
And again, Bovenzi went flying off balance. He went flying through the ropes. No knockdown. Slipped and stumbled through the ropes.
And again, that was from Audia making him miss those punches.
Less than half a minute to go in the fourth round. Nice work by Audia to the body.
Good combination punching. Barry Audia gaining in confidence in this round, and Bovenzi has looked very, very undisciplined and clumsy in this round.
He's been backing up, which he normally doesn't do. Switches to a southpaw stance. Nothing happening as we come to the bell. Giovanni Bovenzi comes out for his fifth round attack on Barry Audia. Second fight for Bovenzi since he's resumed his career after a 22-month layoff. Let's check Al's scoreboard.
Gave the last round to Audia. I made the third round even, first two to Bovenzi, so 2-1 and 1 on my scorecard.
Close fight. I got a 3-1 for Bovenzi.
Something happened in the last round, I think. I think Barry Audia, frankly, was very nervous coming into this fight. Had a lot of jitters. I think he even alluded to that when you talked to him. And I think in that last round, he has started to loosen up and started to fight his fight.
Barry Audia, a very pleasant fellow, and we've had some real nice talks, you and I, with him during the day. Before tonight's fight, when we sat down to interview him, he was really short-winded, had very little to say, and certainly admitted to being nervous. And now he may have the nerves out a little bit. Fought a good fourth round. We'll see what happens here in the fifth.
He's starting to put his punches together, and Bovenzi, very much unlike his effort against Whetstone, is not punching in combination.
I think the one thing, perhaps, is the good defensive work by Audia. Audia is picking up a lot of those punches, and maybe Bovenzi is having some problems dealing with that.
And the one wild card that I will candidly admit I did not consider strongly enough in looking at this fight beforehand was the defense of Barry Audia. It's been much better than I think I anticipated and other people did.
We're past the midway point of this 5th round. But if Barry Audia is to win this fight, he's got to stay busy. He's got to land punches. And somewhere along the line, he's got to hurt Bovenzi just enough. Otherwise, Bovenzi will be all over him. And there is Bovenzi trying to open up with a minute to go in the 5th round.
And this is what Bovenzi did against Whetstone. When he had him on the inside, he worked a lot. Now, he's not landing as effectively against Audia, but here he is throwing his shots.
Audia did some excellent work there, pushing Bovenzi across the ring and tying him up, preventing Bovenzi from doing much damage. Good right uppercut got in by Bovenzi with half a minute to go. He backs up Audia again, trying to measure him for the right hand. Audia with a good left hand, his best punch of the fight. Sharp left to the chin. But Bovenzi took it well. Nice work to the body by Bovenzi. Final seconds of the 5th round. Giovanni Bovenzi.
From here on now, you got to relax and explode your punches, John. You can't play with this guy. You got to hurt him. He has no respect for you. Come on, loosen up.
Here's Bovenzi after Audia, and Audia catches him with a left hook.
Indeed, may be Audia's best punch of the fight, and he's starting to get some confidence.
There is Barry Audia, the Pennington pounder. Gotta be careful I don't pop the peas on the microphone. Explode Mr. Dixon's audio equipment.
It's hard to do in this case.
Bob Dixon, our outstanding audio engineer. This is round 6. Nice right hand. Not big, straight, sharp by Audia.
You know, these rounds are not big rounds for either fighter.
No.
So it could be extremely close right now.
But what's interesting, here's Bovenzi circling. I don't know how well he can fight this way. It'll be interesting to see.
He can box Audia from the outside, but not from that posture with the constant lateral movement.
Audia
giving Barry Audia some confidence here.
Audia's landing. He's picked up his game, his fight the last 3 rounds.
You know, maybe, I mentioned earlier, it's hard for me to fathom Bovenzi losing those fights. Maybe we're finding out how he loses those fights. Here he was in an excellent effort against Kenny Whetstone, and then tonight, even Carlos Gaziano, his manager, said, you're making this fight much closer than you should. We're not trying to negate what Audia is doing, but a lot of it has to do with Bovenzi not doing what he should be doing.
Good uppercut. Audia looking very sharp at this point.
He is punching more and putting his punches together extremely well. Oh, big right.
But Audia took it well. Comes right back at Bovenzi and scores.
Well, that's a key point in this fight. That's as good a right probably as Bovenzi can throw, and Audia came right back with his own combination.
Some good work done by Audia, flipping punches. Did not let Bovenzi get all over him and finish off the attack.
In the last fight in which we saw Bovenzi, it figured that Kenny Whetstone would do better work on the inside. He didn't. Bovenzi won the battle there. Here, people thought Bovenzi would be too strong on the inside, and Audia has done well.
Audia covering up. Again, Bovenzi trying to measure him for that right hand. Stamina could be a big factor in this fight. Don't forget, this is only the 2nd fight for Bovenzi since coming back from that long layoff. Audia's 4th fight in the last 3 months. Straight right hand, and 2 of those fights he's gone 10 rounds.
Come on, let go, man. Let go.
The clock winding down in round 6. 20 seconds to go. There have been no knockdowns. It's been a good, tough fight. It's been a good night for middleweights here in Atlantic City. Good matchups. Nice short left hand scores for Barry Audia. Bovenzi digs the body as we head for the bell ending round 6. Round 7, some stern words in the corner of Giovanni Bovenzi from his trainer Carmen Graziano. They want him to get to work. They feel he's letting things get away. Barry Audia has come on the last 3 rounds. Stayed busy and has done a good job of tying Bovenzi up.
Barry Audia is not a spectacular fighter, but he's persistent, and he will keep plugging away and plugging away until he gets it, either by a knockout or by a decision. And to some extent, that's what he's starting to do against Bovenzi here.
There's some swelling under the right eye of Barry Audia, but I think what Audia has succeeded in doing many times is frustrating Bovenzi.
And there you saw Bovenzi miss with the right. Time and time again in this fight, Bovenzi's been short with the right hand. Part of the reason is he's never really gotten his jab on track, so it's never set up that way.
Oh, nice work with the left hand by Audia as he goes after Bovenzi. Bovenzi took it well.
And again, the key there, the combination punching. Audia is not known as a great combination puncher, but he's the one that's doing it, not Bovenzi, who does have the edge in hand speed, but you wouldn't know it by this performance.
Audia showing us some real good skills. He's learned well. He's showing us excellent defense. And has really done a good job in the last 4 rounds of this fight.
You can see the confidence building. There's a sneak right hand by Audia. And the jab.
Bovenzi gets in his right, but Audia turns it right around. He's taken a couple of good shots from Bovenzi and answered back. See Bovenzi missing, and you see Audia coming back with a counter shot. And again, Audia working short left hook, right uppercut. 1 minute to go in the 7th round.
I think the big difference is Audia is using his best weapon. Bovenzi hasn't been able to use his. They both have good left hooks. There's Bovenzi with a good combination, but not enough of that from Giovanni.
Not enough getting through as Audia covered up and then tied him up. Bovenzi trying to find the opening on Audia. Big right to the body. Oh, big punch by Bovenzi, and that hurt Barry Audia. Bovenzi wound up and fired that right hand to the ribs.
I think he needs to be following up on that.
And again, big body punches by Bovenzi. He's hurting Audia. There's no question those body shots hurt.
Oh, and he may be turning around what was Audia's best round in the fight.
10 seconds to go in the 7th round. A couple of big body shots for Giovanni Bovenzi as we come to the bell.
Come on, John. You got to say
I don't know what it is, man.
Right, come on now. You can't worry about it. You got to come out of whatever it is, John. It's you. It's it is. Come on, let's go. Think positive. Let's go. Right that right hand around the side. You crack the ribs. The hook behind you. Don't drop full in. And that jab, that snub jab you got. Look, you see that jab was 700.
You're making mission and you're still winning, huh? You're doing a good job of boxing. You're doing a great job of boxing. The double jab and the man who looked great and the 24 punches on the row one time. You can't get a little ring. That's what you got to do. Box him early in the last hit.
In the last round, that's with the right hand. What a cruncher to the body of Barry Audia. And yet another punch that Bovenzi will land. However, by and large, that round belonged to Barry Audia. What a contrast in the 2 corners.
Very, very close fight as we come to round 8, scheduled for 10. Bovenzi comes out firing. Audia ties him up. In the corner of Bovenzi. Oh, good combination by Audia. Right-left combination. Let's check Al's scoreboard. Peek at what he thinks.
I have Barry Audia now climbing even in this fight. Ooh. I believe that he's won the last 2 rounds, even though Bovenzi had a good comeback toward the end of the round. So, very, very much in doubt here. And what you have to like about Audia is that his confidence is building, and over in the other corner, you can hear it in between rounds. Bovenzi is thinking negatively. He's not sure anymore. He was sure walking into this fight he could beat Audia, as were many around ringside, but now a lot of doubt.
I've got Bovenzi ahead 4 rounds to 3. Very close.
This is the kind of fight that really explains the intrigue of boxing. From a purely physical standpoint, and as far as their skills are concerned, I think most boxing people will tell you that Bovenzi should win this fight. However, the determination of Audia, the fact that he's fought his fight better than Bovenzi, has put him right in the thick of it.
And again, how much will the judges give credit to Audia's defensive work? He's been excellent defensively in this fight.
That's right. Will they notice that he blocked those punches and he slipped some? There he is starting to go down to the body very well.
Midway through the 8th round, there have been no knockdowns. And again, we're getting to the stamina point. Here is Audia charging in after Bovenzi and landing the right hand.
Good right to the
And
head.
suddenly it's Audia controlling the fight.
Bovenzi's hands are very low. Don't underestimate the power of Audia. We've talked about it, those 13 KOs. While I still believe he hasn't fought the competition Bovenzi has, the fact that he has knocked out 13 guys, and he's got some power. And he's the one that's coming on right now. He's the one landing the good shots.
Looks of frustration on the face of Bovenzi. He's taking more punches now than he did earlier in the fight. He's backed up. And suddenly Bovenzi lacks aggressiveness. Where is that aggressiveness that we saw in the first 3 rounds, 4 rounds?
Or that we saw all fight against Kenny Whetstone. Or wherever it is, Audia is making this fight his.
Another uppercut. Great combination. Great right-left combination by Barry Audia. Bovenzi ties him up.
And Bovenzi punched off those ropes, fearing the referee would stop the fight.
Bovenzi trying to fight back, but a lot of the fight has been taken out of the young man from Vineland, New Jersey. 10 seconds to go in the 8th round. And the Pennington pounder, Barry Audia, has been coming on big in this fight. As we come to the bell-ending round 8. Into the corner of Barry Audia, where trainer Jay Dudley comes into the ring to talk with him.
Give me the last 2. Call him, just like you did then, okay? You got to get him on the ropes like that and catch you to something. Make you move. He's powering in a little bit, Barry. I believe you can use your jab now. You're not out and back him up, all right? That's what you want to have to do. And get this grease when he does. And push yourself. When you get inside him, just like you did then. Just moving these 2 to make sure, okay? A little more water. Hey.
Jabs him right in. You got to go take the fight. He's not going to give you nothing. His hands are flying at all times. Come on, John. You're the better fighter. Oh, please, this bum. Come on. You got to go fight him, John. Make up your mind. You got a guy on the street. If that's the way you're going to fight him, you're going to fight him. You got to...
This was the trial that Bovenzi went through in the last round. Barry Audia getting him against the ropes, very aggressive, ripping uppercuts and left hooks to the body. Vineland, New Jersey, and Pennington, Virginia are worlds apart, are they not?
Yes, they are. This is round 9. In the fight against Tommy Smith, I gave Barry Audia the last 5 rounds. Right now, I've given him the last 3.
Could happen again.
He has really come on strong, shown us great stamina, great determination. Bovenzi's hands are down. Boy, he looks like a totally different fighter from the one who started this fight. And you could hear Carmen Graziano just pleading with Bovenzi to get himself together.
And of course, we heard the relative calm in Audia's corner. Jay Dudley just saying, keep doing what you're doing. And, you know, Audia's using the jab very well. And I think he's landing that punch much better than Bovenzi or Carmen Graziano thought he could. Oh, great combination.
He's throwing a lot of punches, and several are getting through. Bovenzi unable to answer because the fists are flying from Barry Audia.
And that's the posture from which, as I the outside throwing the right hand, the left hooks, and the jab.
Bovenzi did get in a good left hand, in close, but Audia answers back.
It's the combinations. Audia not known as a combination puncher, but he's landing them tonight.
Bovenzi, who landed big to the body a couple of rounds ago, has forgotten that attack.
Now, that shot you just saw a moment ago explains why Bovenzi's not winning this fight, or in my mind isn't. On the inside, he's not doing enough. He's just not putting his punches together as he was earlier. There he did, though.
Good right uppercut, tries to measure him for the right hand, but Audia won't let him do it. A minute to go in the 9th round. The crowd coming alive, trying to cheer on and urge on Giovanni Bovenzi.
They are stunned a little bit by this performance. Both his being a little lackluster and Audia doing so well.
Paul Venti, the referee.